So today's video is about two things. Number one, we are exploring the outskirts of Belgrade, Serbia. And number two, I have newsflash. Serbia is not cheap. Let's dive right into it. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel Just Go with Amreen. You must be wondering, Serbia? Belgrade? Huh? What? When did she get there? How do we not know about it? Well, this is actually vlog number 7, but I'm prioritizing this and posting it first so that you get to know that Serbia is not cheap. A lot of my audience is traveling to Serbia these days, and I think it is very important that I release this vlog first as opposed to probably in January when this would be due ideally. So hence this is coming first. You will see the rest of Serbia eventually. Before we get started, I have a very exciting announcement. I am putting together my very first bespoke tour and it is going to be in Serbia. It is a 6-night, 7-day tour and we are going to be hitting all the unexplored, non-commercial, untouched beauty of this gorgeous country. If you are interested in going on this tour with me, then please click on the link down below and sign up. So before I actually get started and start telling you how much anything costs, the currency in Serbia is dinar. Having said that, I brought euros. I converted my UAE dirhams to euros and brought them to Serbia and got them exchanged here, not at the airport but in the city center. Let me begin with the accommodations. Now I am going to be finishing about 11 nights and 12 days day after tomorrow and I head back to Dubai. So I have stayed in a mix of hotels and Airbnbs. Just because €1 is approximately equivalent to 117 Serbian dinar does not exactly mean that Serbia is cheap. It's probably cheaper than Western Europe. I'm staying in an Airbnb in Belgrade at the moment and for 3 nights I have paid about 9,855 Serbian dinar, and this does not include breakfast or anything, of course, but I am staying in the city center, in the heart. It's called Skadarska Street and that's the street I'm staying at. So basically I step out of my door and I have a line of restaurants, bars and anything that I require, supermarket, and the Republic Square is like 8 minutes walk away. So it's an expensive place to stay, but everything pretty much is going to cost more or less the same, so might as well stay in the city center and everything is accessible from there. So obviously my intent is not to scare you away but also tell you how you can save your money and spend sensibly when you are in Serbia. So some of the things that I am doing is, number one, I am trying to stay in Airbnb as often as possible. There are 2 reasons for that. One, it is more comfortable, it is way bigger than staying in a hotel. Really, trust me, it is. And second of all, you can make your own meals instead of spending outside, because every single time you eat outside a proper restaurant, it doesn't have to be like a very fancy schmancy restaurant, but every single time you eat outside in a simple casual restaurant, casual dining, you are going to end up spending 1,000 dinar approximately. If you have a meal and a glass of wine or beer or whatever, you will end up spending 800 to 1,000 dinar. You can save that by going to the grocery, buying some supplies, coming and cooking dinner or breakfast for yourself. That's what I'm doing here in Belgrade right now. I would really urge you, if you go to a town, the first thing you should do is probably, if they have free walking tours to sightsee and get yourself familiarized with the place, do that, because that is going to save you a lot of money, and also you will get to know where you are, where you've landed, the stories, the history of that place, the culture. So much you will get to know if you just join one of these tours. That brings me to my next part of the vlog, which is the fact that I am doing a free walking tour in Belgrade right now. So I'm headed to that right now and I will catch you guys a bit later. So there are a couple of options when it comes to taking free walking tours in Belgrade. I chose this particular one just because of the places it had listed in its city center free walking tour on their website. I will leave the link to this down below in the description box. Feel free to check them out. They are really insightful and it's a fun-filled, informative walk, and you get to hear from a guide who is from Belgrade, so you get to know everything about the city's history, society, architecture, cuisine, nightlife, and so much more. It's a good 2.5-hour walk, so be prepared for that. It is free, but it is based on tips. Make sure that you tip them well. They take you everywhere from Republic Square, Nezmihaila Street, the Bohemian Quarter, the Kalamegdan Park, which is, by the way, huge. And on the way, they stop by this really gorgeous Instagrammable cafe. A few things that Serbia is known for when it comes to drinks is coffee, rakia, beer, and wine. So we decided to have rakia so we sat down in this gorgeous little cafe and we had a rakia shot each. Honestly, this tour felt like I was hanging out with a bunch of girlfriends. So I would totally recommend taking this tour. It was so much fun. Another thing I want to mention is that if you're renting a car and driving around in Serbia, which is something I would advise, but I don't know what's the cost of the gas, or there are toll gates every time you pass a city. You're going to pay something, and I don't know what that is either, because I am here solo traveling, so I am not driving here. I am taking public buses when I'm switching towns, and I am noticing that there are tolls everywhere. Another thing I want to mention about transportation, I feel I have spent more on transportation than I have spent on food and drinks. The food and drinks are really economical here. If that is what you call cheap, then yes, Serbia is extremely affordable, very economical. But when it comes to transportation, buses, switching towns, taking a cab, it is not cheap. One day I switched towns. I just went for a day trip to on my own to another neighboring town from Novi Sad, and then I came back to Novi Sad. So I went there, I ate, I rambled, I had some coffee, I had some cake, I came back, I had a meal, I bought some things, some essentials for my stay and things like that. And before I knew it, I had spent 6,500 Serbian dinar in one single day. I just grabbed lunch, I grabbed a sandwich, and that costed me 300 Serbian dinar. What I generally do, I spend 1,500 approximately on my meals every day, because breakfast I'm either cooking in my Airbnb or it's included when I stay in a hotel. So I sit in a nice restaurant every day for either dinner or lunch, depending on where I am, what my schedule is like. And the other time I just pick up a sandwich or a wrap or something like that. So it kind of balances things out a little bit. There was a thunderstorm this morning and it was raining pretty heavily, so I slept an extra hour. It's like the universe is trying to tell me, rest, it's your last day. Anyway, I am on the bus successfully. This time I used Google Maps and tried to get there. What would have costed me about 800 Serbian dinar one way in cab is now costing me 90 Serbian dinar one way. Yeah, mission accomplished. We are officially in Zemun, and I am walking to a tower which, when you climb, you can see the entire city from up there. Okay, I'm not sure if I'll be butchering the name of this tower, but it's called Gardos Tower. I'm sorry if I have butchered it. I'll put the name down here. I love how random I am. I just walk into any place. So while I was walking to this Gardos Tower, I came across this beautiful Orthodox church. I don't know what it's called. It's super small and they had a ceremony going on. I don't know what it was. But I just walked in and I couldn't film much, but I just stayed and watched. Okay, so I did find out what the Orthodox church was called. It is called St. Nicholas Church. I am following something called GPS My City. Google it if you don't know what it is. I will leave some screenshots out here. What this does is basically gives you a self-guided tour, a route that you can follow to explore a city. If you want an introduction of a city. Now of course Belgrade has free walking tours, but a small city town like Zemun does not. So in such a scenario, GPS My City app is extremely helpful to tell you where you are and what you're looking at. So yes, that is how I found out. This place is just located 2 blocks away from the Gardos Tower, and it is built in between 1725 and 1731 in the Baroque style. In terms of expenses, we've spoken about accommodations and transportation. The third major cost, last but not the least, is the tours. Now, obviously, when you come to any new place, you would like to take the tours. That's why I mentioned that it's ideal to take all the free walking tours that you can possibly take in all the cities you visit. Of course, at some point you need to pay for tours, especially when you go to Zlatibor and you go to Western Serbia. You want to see all the hidden gems. And in any case, if you want to know more about the history, you cannot just rely on the free stuff. You have to pay for tours. Now, these tours are quite pricey. I'll tell you why. They are not doing group tours anymore. It's very far and few. You will be very lucky to be a part of it. I was a part of one group tour, and I took private tours, of course. The private tour costed me quite a bit. I took a tour, a 2-day tour with Republic Tours to cover Western Serbia. Especially if you're like one person. So whether you're one person or two people, it is going to cost you the same. If you are two or more people, then it is not going to cost you, or you're not going to feel that it is so expensive, because I was one person. So you get the idea. Okay, let's go. It's actually so hot. Oh wow. Okay, hold on. I will show you what I'm wowing at. So those are the views I was wowing at. We still have a few steps left and you will see what it actually looks like from the top. But yeah, you cannot actually climb the tower. You cannot go all the way to the top, but you can just go up for these gorgeous views of Zemun. The symbol of Zemun and one of the most popular Belgrade landmarks is this tower, Gardos. It was built by the Hungarian rulers of that time to commemorate the 1000th anniversary of statehood. It is 36 meters tall and the construction of Gardos Tower was finished in August in 1896. Right next to the Gardos Tower is the Harris Chapel, which was built between 1874 and 1878, and the chapel stands atop the Gardos Hill near the Gardos Tower and an old cemetery. No visit to Belgrade is complete without at least half a day spent in Zemun, and that's what I'm doing today. This picturesque neighborhood on Danube's right bank was formerly a separate town located across the river from central Belgrade. Compared to the city center of Belgrade, Zemun is much calmer piece of paradise. Apart from gorgeous architecture, obviously it's so Austro-Hungarian, which I absolutely love, Zemun's other defining feature is its small town atmosphere, and it can be best experienced at this little square that I'm at. And there's a flea market here, there are lined up with restaurants, and it's such a cool vibe. Let's go have lunch, and it's raining cats and dogs, so I'm going to protect my gear and go in and eat something, and then we gotta head back to Belgrade. So I decided to go a little American, so I had a beer and a mini pizza for 640 Serbian Dinar. I am now leaving Zemun, sadly, and this is the end of this vlog. I hope you guys got a fair idea of the expenses you can expect to incur when you visit Serbia. If I have missed anything out, I'm happy to answer your questions, and I hope you guys enjoyed Zemun. It was a quick tour of the little town. It is so gorgeous. Do not miss it when you come to Belgrade. It is just 15 minutes away. Make sure you visit this beautiful city because the architecture of Zemun is extremely different from the architecture in Belgrade. If you guys like this vlog, you know what to do. Give me a big fat thumbs up and do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Hit that bell icon so that you don't miss any of my upcoming vlogs. I'll see you guys on the road. Bye guys, stay healthy. Cheers. Didn't know what it was called. And cute, isn't it? Oh, talk about cuteness. Our place is lined up with little boutiques. It's raining cats and dogs.